Actually, Carlos Bocanegra was just sitting in there with a group of guys, and he said didn't feel like that was a fair scoreline. So I think I'm not one that spends time judging scorelines, right? But I understand that, and I think the players feel the same way. Sure. There's a little bit of momentum on our side, and now you want to see what we can do with that. And, I thought Danny Alves just fell down. So it's a tough one. We work to try to know how to set up walls and a little bit different against a player like Ronaldinho and everything else, and yet it's not just his ability to strike a ball, it's his cleverness as to how he disguises it, where it's going. They put some players on the end of the wall, so it makes it very difficult for Timmy to see the ball. So, but that's a killer goal. We have had Heath in a few camps. He played against Colombia in Copa America. And, I think we are trying to just continue to push him in his ability now to close down a little bit faster, to be a little bit harder to play against. He can be effective at times going forward, recovering a little faster. When he gets the ball and he has a little bit of time, his passing is okay. And so I think there's starting points. And now, like many of our players, it's just, can everything get a bit better? A lot better? That's what we talk about with all our players. So, yeah. It's a hard question because I still feel 8 months into this cycle that we are a work in progress. We've had, what we've talked about lately was that we had a very good month throughout the Gold Cup. I think there were a lot of positives, ending with a successful defense of our title. But now the ability to take the foundation that works in a tournament like the Gold Cup and build it so it's stronger and better when you play in Europe against Sweden or soon Switzerland or big teams down the road, or when you play against teams like Brazil. So when I say a work in progress, it's can we continue to grow in the important areas? Sweden, the first half was a solid enough effort. Second half was not good. Today was pretty solid for 90 minutes. If we can come into every camp with a sense that the work needs to be right so that at the end of that camp we can play every game with the kind of focus and commitment that we did today, and then if we can continue to work on all the little things. Certainly when you play Brazil, and this is true of, I think, every other team in the world, you can see that their ability to play out of tight spaces and play little passes to draw in defenders and then still get out and to be a little bit creative and everything else, that's better than all the rest of us. So it gives us certainly an area where we continue to improve. But again, it's a package of everything, and so I think we are a work in progress. Yeah, it's interesting after the Sweden game because as a group, as we get to know each other, and now players come off the field and they're faced with press interviews and everything else, the things that they said at that time and their comments, even in discussions, were all over the place. And so it's not that you're trying to tell them what to think, but at the same time, when we came back into this camp, the real point was the one I made earlier, that if we had played the second half of Sweden with the same mentality and obviously cleaned up a few plays and tried to deal a little bit better with Ibrahimovic and that kind of thing. If we had done that for 90 minutes that night, then we would have said, okay, this is one step along the way. But we didn't. So now we come into this game, and I think we've had time together this week to talk about Sweden, show some tape, show some plays, and now set